Excellent news. Zion Young is officially a Raven. And the moment the Baltimore Ravens called his name in the second round of the NFL Draft 2026, my first thought was simple. There's something bigger behind this pick, because this isn't just about adding another physical edge to the defense. What Zion Young did at Missouri is what put him on the NFL's radar in a big way. At the same time, there are still real questions about parts of his game, and when you put all of that together, this pick becomes way more layered than it looks at first glance. Stick with me, because once we break it all down, you'll see exactly why this is excellent news, but also a lot more intriguing than people realize. The Baltimore Ravens didn't overthink it in the NFL Draft 2026. Second round, Zion Young. And being real with you, picks like this don't just happen randomly. When a team like Baltimore invests this kind of draft capital in an edge, there's a very clear purpose behind it. To me, this screams need for more strength and presence on the defensive line, not just depth, real physical impact. Young brings that aggressive style, the kind of player who embraces contact and competes on every single snap. And if you've followed this team, you already know that's always been part of the Ravens' defensive identity. What stands out even more is the immediate fit. I see this as a guy who can step into a rotation early, rather than a long-term project sitting on the bench. He's not a polished pass rusher yet, but he makes up for it with energy, power, and effort, traits that can translate right away in the right system. And there's a quote that really captures what he brings. Lance Zierlein put it like this: long, well-built edge rusher with the size, strength, and temperament engineered for trench battles at the next level. That's a player built for the fight up front. And it sets the stage for what he actually showed on the field at Missouri, which is where things really start to take off. When Zion Young arrived at the Missouri Tigers, he wasn't the name we're talking about today. But what he did in the 2025 season completely changed that. 42 tackles, a huge 16.5 tackles for loss, and 6.5 sacks. And here's my take. This wasn't empty production. It was real impact. To me, that season was a turning point in his career. It's not just about putting up numbers. It's about how he did it. Bigger role in the pass rush, more presence in key moments, and most importantly, consistency. This wasn't a one-game flash. He was showing up week after week and disrupting offenses. That kind of production naturally caught the attention of scouts. In a loaded edge class, he still managed to stand out, and that says a lot about how quickly he developed. It's not easy to rise like that in a competitive group, but he did exactly that. That jump at Missouri is what really put him on the NFL map. At the same time, it raises an important question. Where did that leap come from? Because before that, his path was a lot quieter, and that's where Michigan State comes into play. Before breaking out at Missouri, Zion Young had a much quieter run with the Michigan State Spartans. In 2023, he put up 26 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. Solid numbers, but nothing that had him in the top tier of edge prospects at that point. And being honest with you, this matters. He wasn't viewed as an elite prospect back then. He was more of a developing player, still trying to find his footing. But then came a decision that, in my opinion, changed everything. Entering the transfer portal. Moving to Missouri wasn't just a change of jersey. It was a shift in opportunity, system, and role. He found more playing time, more responsibility, and finally got the chance to show what he could really do. That speaks volumes about adaptability and how the right environment can unlock a player. So when you look at his progression, it's not random. There's a clear path. Foundation at Michigan State, breakout at Missouri. And that kind of trajectory gets NFL teams paying attention, which is exactly why his name started climbing fast during the pre-draft process. All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we keep going, I noticed you haven't hit the like button yet, and that really matters, because it helps YouTube keep showing Ravens content like this to you. So if you enjoy staying updated with the latest Ravens news, analysis, and everything happening around the team, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and it's completely free. I appreciate it. As the pre-draft process unfolded, Zion Young's name kept gaining momentum, and not just a little. Mel Kiper Jr. projected him as the number 25 overall pick, late first round. That tells you exactly how the league was starting to value him. For me, that adds real weight to the Ravens pick, because when you land a guy in the second round who was projected in the first, there's an immediate sense of value. Like, okay, this player might have slipped a bit further than expected. Of course, Projections aren't guarantees, but they reflect how teams and analysts viewed his upside. In a deep edge class, he still managed to climb into that upper tier. That doesn't happen by accident, and that brings up the obvious question. If the hype was that high, why did he fall? The answer comes down to his technical evaluation, because alongside the strengths, there are clear areas that still need work. The report from NFL.com, with analysis by Lance Zierlein, lays it out clearly. One key line stands out. Young is a fiery alpha who brings immense energy to the field. He majors in block destruction using base power and aggression. That's an intense physical player who wins with strength. And being straight with you, that shows up most against the run. To me, that's where he can make the quickest impact for the Ravens. He has the size, strength, and mindset to set the edge and go head-to-head with offensive linemen right away. That alone makes him useful early, but it's not all perfect, and that's also been clearly pointed out. The same report mentions lacks instincts and variety in his rush approach. Pursuit speed and range are average. In other words, he still needs to develop as a pass rusher, improve his reads, and add more tools to his game. And that's the key to his NFL projection. If he can develop those technical aspects, especially his pass rush moves and instincts, his ceiling goes way up. If not, he could be limited to a more specific role. Either way, the raw tools are there. Now it's all about how the Ravens develop him within their system. This pick shows a very clear direction for the Ravens. More physicality, more intensity, and players who can contribute early. To me, Zion Young fits that profile perfectly. Someone who can impact the run defense right away, while still having room to grow as a pass rusher. That's what makes this pick so intriguing. There's a solid floor, but the ceiling depends on how he develops. When you put everything together, his breakout at Missouri, the pre-draft projections, and the traits he already brings, it's easy to see why this news stands out. This isn't just about right now, it's about what he could become in Baltimore. If he develops in the right areas, we might be looking at a key piece for this defense in the years ahead. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Ravens got this pick right with Zion Young? Do you see him making an impact right away, or does he need more time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.